What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Wars in the Stars, episode number 52, and a Book
Shit.
of Boba Fett episode 4 review.
52 episodes. God
Uh,
damn.
I'm sorry, my connection's being unstable, so if I look like a potato right now, I'm sorry. I can't help it. Alex,
Sorry,
how's your day going, my man?
it's going fine, except the fact that I look like a potato without even bad camera. I just am a potato.
Yeah. Oh, I
Yeah.
definitely look like a potato on stream. Yeah, that's bad. Okay, yeah, never
Oh
mind. We're
well.
good. We're fine.
Yeah, I've been fine. As you can see, I new background. Still a work in progress.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get lights up there so you can see the Funko Pops and comics, but like, it is what it is. Um, Yeah. Apart from that, a lot of scheduling at school, so very boring days.
Nice, nice. My
What about?
semester's just ending, so I've got really nothing to do since I have all like A's and stuff. So basically, the next 2 days, I'm going in and just until like 9 a.m. So I'm going in for like an hour and then just leaving, and then
Yeah.
uh, I'll do some work on my senior project. Almost done with that, and I'll be done in May. So we got 5 months left, and then I'll be off to college, and who knows what the fate of the podcast will be at this point, but at that point, but we'll see. We'll still do it, hopefully. It's just in a more limited fashion, probably. Um, but yeah, Alex, you weren't here last week. You were busy with some work stuff.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about Boba Fett episode 4. We're gonna talk about Moonknight. Alex and I really haven't gotten a chance to talk about it.
And
We didn't.
there's a lot to talk about with Moon Knight. A lot happened today.
We're also gonna talk about the Bad Batch. What? What? The
The
show that this
bad,
podcast was founded on. What?
the
What?
bad show.
Yeah. I mean, is he wrong though? And we might even dabble in me becoming the most toxic Star Wars TikToker on the
Phew.
planet. Sheesh, Monday night, Alex.
I
Monday
know.
night, man.
Also, but
Actually,
we.
actually, we could start with that. Why don't we start with that? Just it's
Oh
gonna be
yeah.
quick.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. So basically, guys. If you didn't know, I am the Star Wars theory apologist of TikTok, so that therefore makes me the most toxic TikTok creator on the platform. Um, and somebody made a video saying that Theory was harassing J.J. Abrams, and I didn't think that was a fair assessment. I'm like, he said you suck, bro. I mean, everybody has said that in their life at some point to somebody, whether unironically or as a joke or like actually meant it.
Mm.
Um, and then people wanted to boil down like Theory's statement. It's just like I get tired of it because it's like if you don't like the guy, just don't engage. Um, but basically, I said, yeah, I don't think it's fair to say he was harassing. And then basically, I get a barrage of people who respond like, "You seriously can't be defending him." And what else? What else was said? This is joke, right? I just simply said no, and then the dude said in follow up, I won't say names either, but the dude said in follow up, "You're on the wrong side of this one, fam." I'm like, first off, I don't even know who you are, and okay, fine, I don't care. And then it got into a whole thing where it was a lie. It's just all I said was I disagree, and I said I made videos on this topic. I don't want to elaborate. And then somebody else said, and it got me. I'm like, all right, I got to make a video at this point because they said, "Oh, we all know you have nothing to add." And then basically my whole video, it's probably the most dickhead I've ever been. I was like, this galaxy brain over here, um, wants me to say stuff, and then I said stuff, and then I'm like, yeah, I still have nothing to add. And basically, it was a whole debacle on a live stream, and I got called an idiot. I don't know. It's just I don't know. All of Star Wars TikTok. I'm the villain now.
Yeah.
I am the goblin of Star Wars TikTok. So,
Yeah.
Alex, you got any thoughts on the whole fiasco? Or
I thought it was funny.
I did too. I did too. And then people unfollowed me because there are a bunch of they can't handle the fact that somebody disagrees with them. They're I hate to say, they're very much the same thing as the Phantom Menace. They are the
Mm.
exact same thing. They just have the same 7 brain cells all connected and they say the same shit. And it's kind of boring when both sides do the same thing. And I think me and Alex try to be different than that. I think me and Alex are fair. We like stuff, but we also, hey, we don't like something, we say it. We say it
I
straight up
think
on the show.
I think the biggest thing, like when we talk about that, with the person who shall not be named for anonymous sake, even though I begged you to start calling out names. Um, the thing is like if you don't have disagreements in life, like life's boring at that point.
And then if you
I
get
think
frustrated at a conversation,
I'm
like
like so
visibly
much so they
frustrated,
unfollow someone. And again, I'm not gonna say who it is, but this whole live stream, this guy who is talking to Drew is just not paying attention when Drew is talking, but when someone else is, he's all locked in, focused. So it's like that's already breeding for um, bad conversation. And it'd be another thing that I was like, could you imagine if when me and you first met, that's how we handled it?
no, that would have been so immature. That would look
Exactly.
so bad on either of us.
Exactly. It's like seriously, I was like, if you're gonna try to prove your point that like you're not toxic or what you're doing is fine, that's not really a good way to prove it.
And my whole thing was like, when I thought about it afterwards, I was like, it's funny how nobody is like addressed what he's actually like what's actually said. Like nobody talks about the fact that like yeah, it's kind of so like unironically, J.J. Abrams said on live television, I don't like the prequels, and then had an idea to literally blow up the planet where most of the prequels take place on. Now, I'm just putting two and two together here. That's
Mhm.
pretty funny to me. And then people got upset that somebody pointed that out. Yeah, sure. I think theory can be over exaggeratory sometimes. I don't agree with everything he says. And then the same person on my live stream said, "Oh, they don't pay their like actors or whatever for their fan film." I'm like, I don't know shit about that. I tried to look up stuff, nothing. So like
Right.
basically you just said something that's so like blasphemy. That's like that's ridiculous for you to say. And then to not even engage, like really engage. I was looking at you. I was reading you. I was combating your points. I wanted to have a general conversation. I even thanked you for coming on. I didn't even want to go live. I didn't even want to do it. And I thanked him for coming on. There was another good guy who came on who was pretty nice, pretty well reasoned person who had good dialogue and good thoughts. But this other person, man, it's just like it's a little disappointing. They're very much the same thing as the other side that they hate so
Yeah.
much. It's
I
so
think
fun. It's just so funny to me.
and I think that's my favorite part about specifically Star Wars fans is how much they really like to go in on you for being toxic. You're this, you're that. But then they don't like to potentially accept that they're being just as bad.
Right.
Because here's my thing is
I mean,
like,
no offense to these creators, but do you think
yeah,
it's kind of weird that you've had the same people on your podcast 3 or 4 times? Do you maybe
yeah,
think that you just talk to one sector of the fandom?
yeah.
Maybe?
And that's the thing is I don't
That's
like,
no offense. You can live in an echo
yeah.
chamber, but
That's the thing also that I don't like is that a lot of them are, I don't know how else to say this without being like sounding very rude. They are very much like The Force Awakens in a way, where they play everything so safe that they don't really try to make any ripple waves. Like these people don't try to share any unpopular opinions, and when they do, they either take the video down or they try to elaborate in a way that makes it sound popular. And it's like, and I'm not going to name names for who you were talking to, but he has had a history of being a straight up dickbag to people. Um, he made a stitch to Soup's video about the Book of Boba Fett and just shot everything he said down.
right. And then
I'm just
his this,
like,
and then literally like they make the same video, like 5 of them, and I'm like, okay, cool. And you know what? One of your things that you said wasn't gonna be in the show, he's in the damn show. Yeah, he's
yeah,
confirmed now, buddy. How do you like that? How do you like that? Who said in your comments he was in the show? Me. Who was
I know.
right?
It's
Who
just
was right?
that's just what I cannot
Bow to your
understand.
king. Bow to your king. No,
Bad
I'm
of the
joking.
king. That's just what I don't understand is like, how are you going
It's
to?
like if me and Alex, if I made a video and then Alex was like, "Yeah, let me copy this." It's just like, "Hey, let me copy your homework. Just let me change it a little bit." Right? That's basically what they do.
Yeah, I also just love. I'm rewatching the video. I like how he starts the video with saying, "Soups, I respect you a lot," and then just completely shits on him the entire
It's the
rest of the
same thing
video.
he literally said about Theory, though. He said, yeah, Theory will say, oh, uh, he complained that the fact that Theory will say, I respect your opinion as a fan, and then go on to give his opinion, his
Yeah.
subjective opinion. And yeah, maybe it hurts your feelings a little bit. I don't know.
Hmm.
Can I not be negative about something without it
Yeah.
being toxic?
Yeah. Because here's my thing with Theory is I don't like him. I don't like that the face of the Star Wars, of like the biggest followed creator of Star Wars is Theory. He's in my opinion is a negative loophole. Of people who just go in these circles of just negativity. They can't find a way out. They can't break the chain to be positive about anything. Um, but the fact of the matter is he's the biggest creator, and that's just it.
Yeah, that's the way it
If the
is. And
if
he
the
earned
biggest
it.
yeah, and
He
yeah,
earned
he
it.
earned it. He's put years of his life into it, money, all of that. And it's like, look, so what? The biggest creator of Star Wars is Star Wars Theory, and there's nothing that I can do about it. And if I'm gonna have the audacity to call him out and be toxic, I don't get the right to be toxic and dick back. That's not how that works.
Right. This person also said, "No wonder Lucasfilm wants nothing to do with you." It's so funny to me because you also you don't call out the same company who literally had a guy literally make fun of him for crying
Yeah.
about seeing a childhood favorite of his. And I don't care if you Pablo Hidalgo was making fun of him. I don't want to hear
Mhm.
you defend him,
All right.
okay? Because
Yeah.
Pablo Hidalgo was a douchebag, and I'm not afraid to say that because he's been a dick to fans who didn't like The Last Jedi, and people have been dicks to him. I'm not saying that, and that's the problem I had in the live stream. Like I would say one thing, and they'd be like, "Well, you must think this thing too?" Because they all have the same 7 brain cells connected together. So like, just because I think
Yeah.
one thing doesn't mean I excuse the other. Like, yeah, Pablo Hidalgo was bad to fans who didn't like The Last Jedi, and so were Last Jedi fans or Last Jedi haters to Pablo Hidalgo. It's
Yeah.
the same thing. It's vice versa. But nobody, they didn't call out Pablo Hidalgo for what he said because that's
Yeah.
not a safe thing to do. It's safe to call out Theory because everybody was doing it.
Yeah. And
Would
I
they
think
call out
like,
Star Wars Explained if he did something wrong? No, absolutely not. Is it easy to go after geeks and gamers? Sure, because it goes against what you believe and what your audience believes. That's not what me and you do here. We have done it constantly. We have either praised Lucasfilm or we're unapologetically will bash them when they do something wrong. I think you have to take every individual issue at face value. And
yeah.
I kind of I'll let you finish your thoughts, and we got to get into the Book of Boba Fett. But go ahead.
Yeah. To me, my whole thing is like these positivity creators, while I enjoy the positivity, while it's needed for the Star Wars community, I think a lot of them just excuse everything. And then, like, for instance, I'm going to go back to the soups video because I have it pulled up right now. Um, it's just like when you think of something like we bring up the Mandalorian point, like he brings up, oh, the Mandalorian has been confirmed literally nowhere to be in the show. It's just like, okay, well, first of all, like he's in the show. We can
You're
talk about
wrong.
this in hindsight. He's
You're
in the
wrong.
show,
You're wrong.
or he's going to be in the show, we should say. Um, and right now, it's like he was basically confirmed. Like a lot of top scoopers basically confirmed he was in the show.
And plus, you don't have to be a genius to put together the fact. Alex, who's created the Book of Boba Fett?
John Favreau, Dave Filoni. I think they've worked on something else pretty big lately.
Did they work on the Mandalorian? And are they
Oh,
working on another spinoff called Ahsoka?
and the third season of The Mandalorian. Yeah,
Right, right. Don't they kind of have we've coined the term the Mandoverse, the Filoni verse? So, like,
yeah,
is it too big of me to think? Is it too much of me to think that the main character of the Mandoverse is going to show up in one of those
yeah.
shows? Is that too much of me to think?
Yes, clearly.
Yeah.
Um, Also, another thing is like this whole Mace Windu thing. I'll say this. I'm one of those people who think no, Mace should just stay dead for
Right, but
story's
yeah,
sake. But it's just like don't shoot down someone's theory like that. Like, oh, he's dead. Well, so was Boba Fett for a long time, and so
so
was
was
Darth Maul.
Darth
So
Maul.
was
It's
Emperor Palpatine.
it's
So
so
was like
so many.
everyone.
It's so funny to me. Yeah, he got electrocuted and he fell out a window and we never saw him splat on the ground. Like so um uh Boba Fett was literally digested by a thing that had acid that could
Mhm.
literally just kill anything. Darth Maul was literally cut in half and he had spider legs the
He
next
was
time we saw him.
literally Spider-Man the next time we saw him.
Palpatine, they did the meme and they said Palpatine somehow returned. That's
Yeah.
basically his explanation in Rise and Dark Cloning, and they brought him back.
Yeah.
So don't say that somebody just can't be brought back in a universe that's famous for bringing back characters.
Literally Ahsoka. We were all assumed that she died at the end of Rebel season 2, and poof, the world between worlds happened, and all of a sudden she's alive.
Right,
It,
it's
it's this
crazy.
thing that's like people wonder why things
I
like
don't want Mace to be back either,
no,
but to say, oh, he can't come back because it says in this reference book, uh, in section 4C that Mace Windu is deceased. Like, shut up. Don't care.
yeah, it's a thing like when you shoot
We've already
down,
seen that. We've already seen that
yeah,
that Lucasfilm story creators they're not beholden to what the books say. Cobb
yeah,
Vanth's story changed. The Bad Batch and
yeah,
Kanan's Order 66 story changed, which
yeah.
is a good thing.
It's like when you, in my opinion, just shoot someone's theory down because this reference book from 6 years ago said he's dead. You're kind of losing me there because it's just like, well, that's
And then
outdated.
I made a video saying that people that just like canon junkies that shoot theories down because it doesn't work for canon are boring people and don't add a lot
Yes.
to dialogue.
It's like,
And then they got
you know what
butthurt
I
about it.
imagine?
They
Could you
got butthurt about
imagine
it.
if these kind of fans were told that Star Wars was introducing the multiverse? Oh, they would have a heart attack with how
They
much
would hate
defending
it.
they're gonna have. With
They would
with
hate
all
it.
the defending they're gonna have to do with everything Disney's done, they're gonna lose it. They're gonna lose their minds over it.
I just like to for me, I don't get how you could just like one side just religiously hates everything. I don't think I could ever do that. And then I
No.
don't get how this side can literally defend almost every action. Like there are some things like Disney Plus Day, like their decisions with directors and stuff that you can be like, huh, yeah, there's a positive outlook on this. Like,
Yeah.
how do you do that? And then on the vice versa side, like, how can you say like some of this is shit or like it's literally the same thing George did
Yeah.
like a decade ago? It's just weird to me. But yeah, we'll get into the Book of Boba Fett now. Alex, overall thoughts on this episode?
Best episode by far.
Ooh, ooh.
I think if I had to do a small ranking, it would go 4, 3, 2, 1.
You like 3 a lot more than most people.
Yes, I know, which I'm very sad about. I thought it was a really good episode.
You like the Vespa game?
Yeah,
I like them. The
amazing.
bikes just don't work for me aesthetically, and the speeder
No,
chases.
on
Nah.
Tatooine they don't work, but like,
It's so
um,
funny that picture that they have the still where it's just them walking into the mayor's office. I'm like, oh my god,
yeah.
what is?
I also like, I love all the memes of the speeder chase. Everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, go get them!" And they're fighting at like super slow motion.
It's good. It's good. It's funny.
I think
Episode
that's
four.
why I like it so much.
Yeah, episode 4 for me, man, was solid. It's the second best
Top
episode.
top notch, best flashbacks by far.
Besides the Tuscan massacre, because it was a really emotional scene. I think I agree.
Yeah.
So this is a really weird thing to me that I've noticed. My 2 least favorite episodes so far have been one's directed by Robert Rodriguez.
I
Episodes 1
know.
and 3.
He
It's
did
really
such a
weird to
good
me.
episode with the tragedy. I was so excited for for this
Like I
show.
feel like he's an action director and his actions kind of been lackluster,
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
which worries me because he's probably doing the finale.
Yeah, probably.
But we'll get into all that later. Yeah, Alex. Overall, I really enjoyed this episode. I just did my review and I gave it a 8 out of 10. I thought it did some really solid stuff. I said out of all the iterations of Fennec Shan we've gotten through The Mandalorian and the Book of Boba Fett, it's probably my favorite iteration of her we've gotten. We
Yeah,
get more into her motives. And I also said that, like, what The Mandalorian and the Book of Boba Fett do so well is they do a lot of showing, not telling. They don't do a lot of dialogue. That's
yeah.
not how those shows work. This episode had a lot more dialogue than usual, but I thought it was meaningful dialogue, and it gave us finally um, Boba's motivations. And I love it. People were making memes like basically Boba just said that Vader and Palpatine are idiots and
Yeah.
Jabba's an idiot and stuff. His motivations, where he's been, what he thinks about doing, and how he wants to rule in the present, and it gives some really interesting stuff with fire spray. Is that what we call it? Is that or
Well, we got to take in mind that's the type of ship that ship is. Now, listen
or the
before.
prisoner with
Yeah,
no job one? The
yeah.
prisoner with no job one.
Listen before the fans march up to a Lucasfilm January 6th style because they changed the name
Gosh.
of the ship. Listen, that is the model of ship that it is called. It is called a fire spray model. It is called, more specifically, a fire spray attack model.
Yeah, yeah. And
Slave,
when I rewatched the episode, it would make more sense for him to say fire spray gunship than slave one. Like I would be like,
yeah.
you gotta get what?
The other thing is like what we have to remember. It has never in any show or movie has
I think it was said
ever
in the Clone Wars.
no. He always says he needs to get to his ship. It is never explicitly called the Slave One. And also, why does it matter?
Yeah.
It has only been called the Slave One in games and in books.
Yeah, I don't.
And
I've never.
yeah. And as we can see, Lucasfilm gives Jack diddly squat about that. So
Yeah, I don't. I don't. I don't care what they do with it. It's never been a big bother of mine.
no, never,
Um,
never cared.
and I really think that. So I equate these first 4 episodes of the Book of Boba Fett to basically just a shortened version of season 1 of The Mandalorian, and then these last 3 episodes are kind of going to be like season 2 of The Mandalorian that are like
Oh,
bonkers
I
off the
wonder. Do
chart.
you think Book of Boba Fett's going to be a multi-season show?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they didn't say it was, they usually will say limited series. I don't think it's going to be.
See, Drew. Obviously, I don't know, man. I think I don't know how people are going to react to this chapter of this book. I think it might be a, I think that might be a negative again, which is still to this day is one of my favorite reactions to the first episode. It's one of my favorite things of all time.
It felt like a
Like a
chapter in a
chapter of
book.
a
Yeah.
book. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was
Like,
like,
it's the
what?
point. It's the point.
It's almost like that's the point.
Right, right. And also, I could see, because we talked about this on a phone call we had earlier, Boba could just be helping Dan, because that's what we
Yeah.
think happens. Um,
Yeah, we assume that this show is just going to segue right into the Mandalorian season 3 or Ahsoka. So it's
and
like,
it's more likely Mando 3, because I don't
yeah,
think Ahsoka works. Never
who
know.
knows?
Uh, but yeah, let's get into the nitty gritty of this episode. So it opens up with, and by the way, I gotta say this: Boba Fett and animals are 2 things I never thought I would love.
Yes.
But he
Him
he
and his
loves his
bantha.
bantha, man.
Loves it to death. I
Go,
also
go
go,
make bantha babies.
yes, love it, love it, love it.
um,
Absolutely amazing.
but he's so. Let's also talk about this. So the Mandalorian is set to take place around 5 years after Return of the Jedi.
Oh yeah, these shows have no good timeline.
I assume he spent like a year or two with the Tuscans.
I mean, he kind of had to have because
Right,
how are you gonna explain that the Mandalorian season 1 episode 5 events were happening during this?
right. Because when I saw the flare go up, I'm like, "What? We're here? What?"
Well, yeah, we hear the flare and then we hear the Mandalorian like rift.
Yeah,
We're just
like
like
what?
he was either with those Tuscans for like 2 to 3 years or
He's on that bantha for a long time.
He's riding on the bantha for like 3 years. Like, what is
Yeah,
going on?
I don't really care. It's funny to me. It's just like
Yeah,
he he did
funny timeline continuity.
yeah, but he looks, he sees that his fire spray gunship slave one, prisoner with no job one, whatever you want to call it, is in Jabba's palace. And I will say, I also love how this show is added more detail to Jabba's palace.
Yeah.
It's not just the floor that we see
Mhm.
with the throne. We got the
Yeah.
upstairs.
And see, what I'm also really interested in, first of all, to speak about Boba Fett for a sec. Actually, no, I'll wait till we get to this part because it's one of my favorite parts of the episode because of how stupid it is.
Oh, you talking about the rabbit?
No, no, no. I'm talking about the Sarlacc Pit.
Oh my god. We'll go there. We'll go there. So Boba says, I have some scores to settle. I'm like, oh shit. Han Solo, Luke Skywalker.
Someone.
Oh shit. And then he takes out the speeder bike game, which was very satisfying. I will say
Yeah.
that.
Which
Very
I was
satisfying.
honestly, I the entire time was like, oh my gosh, go above them and seismic charge them. I was like, that would be brutal, but awesome as shit.
You could tell he enjoyed it when he was shooting him too.
Oh
So,
yeah.
and then the last guy, he uses like I don't even know what you call it.
The missile.
Yeah,
Yes, I don't know. Ion torpedo, proton
ion.
torpedo,
Yeah, it's like the ion torpedo thing. It
something.
just like that poor guy. He survived all that time, watched all of his friends die, and then boom.
I also like how by the way, how they notice that they're getting shot down by a ship from above, and they continue in a straight line. They
Oh,
don't
they
try
don't
to
deviate at all.
they don't try to like break off or anything. They're just like, and we got it. We're good. We're good.
And then he goes to Sarlacc Pit. I'm like, is he gonna blow this bitch
I
up?
literally thought that man was gonna get nice and close and personal, and he was just gonna start unloading like Kylo Ren in Episode 8 style.
But it's so weird to me. He's like, I need to get my armor. I'm like,
But you
you,
crawled out of it with your armor,
you
with your armor on. I don't know how. I don't know how it would get back in.
did he think it like slipped off? It,
Something.
I just fell in.
And
Um,
also, we find out that like before he goes back into the Sarlacc pit, like Fennec and him get on a rope and he goes back in. Like
right,
that was stupid. But he was technically perfectly fine.
right.
And then he went back in and she was like, "Oh yeah, you're gonna need to get like a back to tank or something."
Well, like at that point, the Sarlacc's dead. So can it like illuminate or release any more of its acid?
I don't
Like
know.
I don't know how
Also, I
Sarlaccs
like
work.
this show has done a lot of good damage control. I'll give it that with the whole Slave One and fire spray thing, but also with the Sarlacc pit.
The beak.
Technically, the original is still right, and so is the beak.
Right, because in the version I think we all watched, it was the beak that he was
Yeah,
swallowed
in the
by.
special editions.
But I like it without the beak. And then I'm like, oh, the beak is real, but it's not like.
Yeah,
So like my thing is like where was Boba then when he was down there? Was like he in the beak or was
I
he
guess so, or something. Like the beak must have been very because it went underground.
right?
I also like how it's strong enough to hold down the Slave One. Like you would think the Slave One would literally just rip it out of the ground.
Right. And I still love how obviously they have to get this right, but because people would be pissed, but it has the one tentacle still from Return of the Jedi that Han shot. He's like, and Helena's like, "What the hell are you doing, man? You blind." And then
Yes, that's exactly how it went down.
yeah, he's like, "What the hell are you doing, man? You blind."
Yeah.
um,
I thought you were blind. I can see a whole
yeah.
lot better. As he's going like this, I can see a whole lot better.
Lucky shot. Yeah, but it's still
Also,
weird to me, Alex. Like I was saying, Boba has not mentioned Han Solo's name once, and
or
that's literally
Luke.
the guy who put him in this predicament.
Yeah. If you also always think about it, it's one of those things that like we talked about this a little bit over a phone call, like the weird Boba Fett hype from when Return of the Jedi and ESB came out. Why was he so hyped? Because if you think about it, how did he fall into the Sarlacc pit?
He literally got hit by a blind man and his jetpack malfunctioned. He
Yeah,
hit the
okay.
side of a sail
But
barge and then
the,
floated in.
the question is, why was he standing still on a ship where he was the only bad guy standing?
I
He
don't
can
know.
fly.
And then I
And I
love the
like how
fact,
I like how he raises it like in Return of the Jedi. He raises it real slow.
just completely misses.
I'm like, 3 shots. Like they
Alex,
don't
it's
even go near him.
Alex, it's not even close. Like the first one just literally goes like 5 Luke Skywalkers over his head.
I was like, holy shit, most dangerous bounty hunter, my ass.
I like to think canonically he was drunk.
Yes, that's the best way that I can think about it is that man was
The
drunk
robot chicken thing where he's just drunk out of his mind. That's what I
or
think he
yes.
is.
Also, I like how people are trying to canonize the robot chicken thing with Max Rebo.
That's
With,
yeah.
yes, it's amazing. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that Max is alive.
Ah
I also like
shit, I
that
gotta get to my gig, man. I got
yeah.
my gig.
I like how he also gets name dropped in the episode. Oh,
Yeah. He's like, Garza Whip says, play it.
yeah. Play it,
Play it,
Max.
Max.
Yeah.
Um,
Also, I was just going over like when Boba Fett goes to the Sarlacc pit. I'm like, oh my god, this bitch is about to be this petty. He's gonna get his shit back, and again, he's gonna Kylo Ren him, and he's just gonna just hold the trigger down, just like ah. But no, he goes down there again for his armor, which he then confirms is Beskar. His armor is Beskar,
correct.
which I thought was obvious. But the helmet is Beskar as well. So where did Boba get another Beskar helmet that was a replica of his dad's helmet?
Right. And because the other helmet blew up in the Clone Wars.
Which
Unless he
still
lied
makes
about
no
that.
sense because
Unless he
his
lied
dad's
about that.
helmet, yeah, because his dad's helmet was Beskar. And Beskar has an extremely high heating temperature.
Right, but then you would have to make the argument the whole Clone Wars doesn't make sense because we see Mandalorians die like it's nothing.
Well, not really, because most Mandalorians only have Durasteel armor. Only very few people have Beskar armor.
True.
You know who has Beskar armor? The main characters.
Right.
So that's all
Right.
that matters.
It's plot armor. But yeah.
Literal plot armor.
I love
So
plot armor. But it makes it look cool.
yeah.
Yeah, so how does he have 2 helmets?
I think it would be very weird that Jango would get entire Beskar armor except the helmet.
Right.
So, because like again, you got to think like most Mandalorians is made of Durasteel, and if you didn't know, Darth Vader's armor was made of Durasteel. So then
It's
it
still
raises,
very strong. It's
yeah, it
still
is
very
like
strong.
that's like stuff the Death Star was made out of. So it's like it's not
Yeah.
any like cheapo armor, like any just random metal. It's a good metal, but then you're just like, well, technically, then couldn't Vader have gotten shot and just died? Like you know how every time a Mandalorian in Clone Wars gets shot, they like fall back 30 feet. So it's like, why didn't Luke just do that? That's one of the many things in Empire Strikes Back that always pisses me off is Luke has his blaster and never shoots it. I always just want to go through the screen and just snap the blaster in half. Like there, if you're not gonna use it, don't hold it.
Yeah, so let's get more into this. So he finds Fennec dead on the sands of Tatooine.
Yeah. Also, by the way, the surgery putting her back together almost made me throw up, even though they didn't show a lot.
You're not a big surgery guy?
No bones, blood. That's how you make me pass out.
So what I really appreciate about the flashbacks is it ties into the presence, like present day. Like I know people were complaining, why does Boba take this speeder bike gain of cybernetics? Well, it's kind of obvious because they helped him out.
Yeah.
So he's like, I'm gonna help these guys out. So that's a really nice tie-in. And I
Mhm.
like the aesthetic of them actually this time. Like they're like I'm kind of warming up to it now. They're just a bunch of like hippies
Mhm.
that live on Tatooine and have
Yeah.
cybernetic parts. The one lady that had like the red eyes freaked me out, bro. I was when I
Yes.
watched that 3 in the morning, I'm like, this is terrifying. Um,
Mhm.
this is terrifying. Uh, Fennec wakes up, hears that. It is weird that like Boba never asked like, "What happened to you?" Like,
Yeah.
Nothing about Toro, man. Nothing about Toro.
Nope. He's
Uh,
dead, so that's all that matters.
that's all that matters. And then, so he's like, You're gonna help me out. Your debt will be paid." And it's kind of alluded to that they know each other, right? She knows who Boba Fett is. I assume they've probably worked together at some point. Maybe we see that in the Bad Batch. Um, that would make the show good. Oh, sorry, I had to do it. But yeah, Alex, would you? So there's kind of these three campfire scenes, and like at first, like Fennec's all hell bent on being an assassin still. I want to ask you, like, to me, this episode kind of was like Fennec's falling into the Sarlacc Pit moment and being rescued by the Tuskens, or in this case, Boba, that changed her perspective on bounty hunting. Do you agree with that assessment?
Yeah, obviously. She goes from, oh, where are you gonna go next to where are we gonna go next? She
Right,
joined his crusade. What can she
right.
say?
So they go. He lets go of the bantha. Very good moment. Loves his animals. Let's go of the
Go
bantha.
make baby banthas.
They
Make
send a
sure.
little.
I say, make sure the bantha rides the other bantha like this.
Oh my god!
I'm sorry to put that in your head.
I don't want to think of bantha production. I'm sorry.
You don't want to think of bantha sex?
No.
Why
Do
not?
you?
No, but why don't you want to?
I don't want that picture in my head, man.
You're just lame. That's obviously it.
So they go into Jesus Christ, this show sometimes. So they go into Jabba's
Get that
palace. They
rabbit.
sneak in. What's that?
Nothing. It
What
was
did you think
funny.
of the whole Jabba Palace steel and fire spray sequence?
It was funny. Okay. I mean, it was a good shootout, but the rabbit thing, the entire time, I just said out loud, the entire time, you know that thing in Avengers Endgame where Rocket gets the ether from Jane Foster and the Asgardians like, get that rabbit.
Yeah.
I just wanted Boba and Fennec to say something like, get that rabbit.
And by the way, I love the chef, and I love how there's like in reference to to General Grievous, where he just starts swinging the.
Yeah, it just doesn't go like this. Also, by the way, bro, speaking of General Grievous, like offshore or whatever it's called, I like how in the deleted scene, have you seen the deleted scene of his original death?
No, what was it again? I probably
Obi
have.
Obi-Wan rips his brains out and then shoots it,
Oh,
and then kicks his body off the edge. I was just like, holy shit, this movie would have been dark.
I also love how he dies in Revenge of the Sith, and I still laugh at it all the time. Oh, he keeps getting shot, and he does nothing about it. He just stands there.
I also like when he gets shot, his entire body turns on fire or gets caught on fire. Like, how does that happen? Are we secretly flammable from the inside?
I guess. That's one thing they gotta do though. I know we're sidetracked now, but with Grievous, like they teased in that episode, like what his past life as a warrior was. Never showed what he actually looked like. Never did it. They,
No,
they never.
also, by the way. Sorry to go off track again, but my school, I said in the beginning, we had our scheduling today.
General Grievous showed up. What? No.
No. This has to do with his insides. I found out in a class that we could take anatomy. We would have to dissect a cat. Oh, I was disgusted.
I dissected a chicken earlier this year, and I'm dissecting a pig tomorrow.
The only thing I've ever dissected was a frog, and I threw up on the frog. I cut it, bro, and I felt a little bump in the skin, and I literally went.
Hey, class.
Yes, all over it.
What grade was this?
Eighth. I was forced to take an assignment instead because I was deemed unable to be in the lab. Where I had to do it instead, I had to watch a video of someone dissecting a frog. And I literally told the teacher,
And
I was
then he
like,
puked on the computer.
literally told the teacher, I was like, I'm gonna throw up if you keep making me watch this.
Oh
So
man.
she's like, I'll just exempt you from the project because clearly you're not able to do it.
You
He's like,
threw
you know
up
what?
on the frog man? Did you have like a partner or something?
I had a group of like 5 other people,
Oh my god.
and they all looked at me like this. No, you know what their looks remind me of? You know the shore trooper in season 2 of The Mandalorian
Oh no.
with the tray, just like, oh,
Was this like after lunch too?
yeah. This is my first period after lunch.
All sorts of.
I didn't think it'd be that bad, and still I
Why
didn't
did they
feel
make you dissect it? Why did they make you be?
it. 8th grade, by the way. I don't know. It was
Why
a
did
part
they
of,
make you? What?
I don't know because we all I think had to practice like dissecting like certain parts, and I got the fucking like if you flip the frog upside down, I got the stomach area,
Right, you got the
and,
intestines.
and I felt a tug when I did it, and all I could think about was the frog coming back to life. I couldn't concentrate. So the entire time I'm like shaking like this. I'm like, please don't come back to life. Please don't come back to life. No. And just
Was it bad too? Was it
it was
like
all over the place, bro. I had to go straight to the bathroom. And thankfully the bathroom was across from the room. So
Did you just run out of the room? I would have.
yeah. She said, go to the restroom right now and clean up. We thankfully had lab gear on, so I didn't get any clothes thrown up on. But still.
Oh my god.
We should not be letting like 12-year-olds dissect things. Because my friend then got one and then fucking cut the head off. I was like, what are you doing?
That's dark. That's dark.
I was like, is your part the head? He was like, no, just cut it off for fun. It was like,
okay, man.
hey, we might have to end this friendship right here. Let's say 7, 8 feet apart.
So what else? So let's talk about okay, so how do the flashbacks end?
With him and Fennec. I think they go off like they fly off somewhere. Because he needs to go get his armor or something like
right.
that. Which
yeah,
by the way, I gotta say, I still think we're gonna get flashbacks. I just don't think it's gonna be through the back to stuff. I think it's just gonna be
through Din.
No, I think it's just gonna be flashbacks that just start at the start of the episode.
I think like we could get the flashbacks of how he gets or how he knows where his armor is through Din. Like Din could be like, "How did you know where your armor was?" And then he could be like, "Yeah, I watched you in Cobb Vanth the whole time, and I watched you with the Tuscans, and I really appreciated what you did." Which, by the way, I really love how Boba like in that dialogue that the last fire camp scene where they're talking with each other.
Yeah.
And Boba's like, Fennec's like, they made you soft. Boba's like, no, they made me stronger. Boba has lusted for this family for so long. Jango wasn't a good dad. Jango just wanted him to carry on the bloodline. And then he had Aura Singh as a mom, which is just terrible. I feel bad for that poor kid.
Yeah.
And
then have like Bosk and Dengar and Ventress as siblings.
Right. Yeah, it's not going to work. He then he says everyone needs a family. He offers something that no other crime boss can offer, and that's loyalty, right? Because Jabba, Kira, Maul, they will work in their own self-interest, right? That's basically how they operate. And I think it was a really, really good scene. And it's really been what the show has been about is Boba's changing the landscape, and people are afraid of that because forever it seems like in the Star Wars universe, bounty hunting and mob bossing, being a crime lord, it's just been about building your empire, not creating relationships, not going out of your way to make everyone else rich. And if Boba's able to be successful with this, he could possibly be the most successful crime boss we've seen. I think that's the direction we're going with until he probably meets up with Kira at some point. But
I'm still on the train that she's gonna be the big bad.
of this season still.
I think even of the next season if we get one.
Right. I agree. I agree with that. I don't think the Pikes are enough for the Hutts to leave. I really don't think that.
No, because here's the thing: is that the Pikes have, while they've been a thorn in people's sides, they have always been controlled by someone, a larger force.
Right, and they're very limited. It's they only
Yes,
do spice.
seems like it at least.
Right.
Um, and so now I'm thinking that either Crimson Dawn is going to be the big bad, or fuck it, bring back Darth Maul for all I can. Resurrect for the third time, because technically he died again in Clone Wars after his first fight with Obi-Wan.
Right. Yeah. Um but yeah, I think it make a lot of sense for Kira. I don't want
Yeah.
her to die in a comic. That would be so lame.
Or like at all.
Or
Like
at all. Yeah, I know. I get that. Yeah, the Pikes just don't seem like much of a physical threat either. Every time we've seen them, they get like thrown around. I mean, Solo they get thrown around. The Clone Wars they get thrown around. Um,
they got bitched around by the Marquez sisters. Like, let's not let them live that down.
they did, they did. Um, but yeah, so and the Black Chrysanthemum stuff. What'd you think of that?
I thought it was funny.
I did too.
I honestly was kind of shocked that he ripped his arm off. I was like, oh my god, she's gonna get through to him.
Yeah,
And then he ripped
dude,
the
did you
arm
see
off,
the
and then
Trandoshans' facial expressions? I was laughing my ass off.
they were literally like,
His eyes were like this.
I also like how but how after Chrysanthemum leave, Boba turns like, it was worth the shot, and she was like, yeah, I'm gonna hit
Yeah.
it,
He tried.
Max. Oh my god, we just had someone die. Hit it, Max.
Well, he could regrow his limbs. He's good. That's how Trandoshans work. But I love how like this dude is like drunk, just in a bar, and he just
Yeah.
sees Trandoshans. It's a really nice touch because obviously Wookiees and Trandoshans. And it
Yeah.
kind of flips on what we've seen. Trandoshans used to hunt Wookiees, but
Yeah, because
these guys,
yeah, especially like in the first episode when they're bringing their tributes, the Trandoshan brings a Wookiee pelt.
right,
So
right. And Chrysanthemum literally throws him, and then the dude throws a bottle, and he's
yes, he smashes the bottle over his head, and Chrysanthemum just turns around and is like, "This motherfucker."
like he was done, and he didn't even. I mean, he did throw one of them literally across the cantina, but like nobody lost limbs or anything, just a little unconscious. And this dude almost gets like annihilated. And I also like how they keep Chrysanthemum's backstory consistent. Like, he was obviously like in, what was he like? Not a street fighter. He was
A
a
gladiator.
gladiatory, yeah, gladiator fighter. Thank you. And Boba offers him a job. I think we all assumed that was going to happen. What do you think about Chrysanthemum joining up with Boba? That's a phone. Don't
Yeah.
ignore it.
I think they're gonna join up, and then Chrysanthemum's gonna turn on them.
You think so?
Yeah.
1 second. I'll be right back. Keep talking.
Wow. Look, Chrysanthemum is just like someone, in my opinion, who I feel like he was such an oddball choice to bring in, but then when they brought him in, I was like, oh shit, it's Black Chrysanthemum, and then they kind of bitched him around by keeping him in the Rancor pit, and then he ripped someone's arm off. He feels a little inconsistent in that respect of okay, he got bitched around by Boba Fett in a robe, and then
Well, he didn't really.
well, no, but still, um, he got beat up by a bunch of street level thugs. Their thug level was only level 1. His is level 100, and he still died.
Yeah, he was pretty badass in the when he fought Boba, but I wish there was a little bit more to that, like you were saying. He just looked like a menace, and in this scene, he was a menace to the Trandoshans, and I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
And I agree, it was an odd choice, but it works. It really does
Mhm.
work, especially for just general audiences too. Like you could just visibly tell without knowing anything about him. I barely knew who he was in the comics. I knew a little bit about him. Like that's an evil Chewie. Like you
Yeah.
just have to look at him and just know that's an
Yeah.
evil Chewbacca. He's got like
Evil.
the electrical
Yeah.
fist. He's
Evil
badass,
bad
man.
boy. Evil bad
He is a
boys.
bad boy. And let's finally get into it, Alex. The big cliffhanger. We finally get the big cliffhanger for the show.
Daddy
Da-da-da-da.
Jin. Daddy Din is
Daddy
coming.
did. Daddy did. One of my favorite Star Wars characters. Probably
He's on
top.
your wall.
He is.
He's on my wall too.
He's right there.
Right there.
He's right there.
And he's
And
and he's right. You can't see him, but he's right there, right on the edge.
I'm also looking at him right here. I have another poster of him facing. I'm looking right at him.
Do I have any more Mandalorian? I have Baby Yoda all over my walls.
So Alex, there's a rumor going around about what ship he's going to be flying. So this comes to us from Bespin Bulletin, and it's a rumor. And they said
an he's writing. He's writing me.
An episode. They said in episode 4 or 5. Oh, their insider, their person that gave him this information said in episode 4 or 5. And episode 5 is the next episode where we will see Din. What are you doing?
Nothing. Never mind. You're fine.
He's supposed to be flying a Naboo starfighter. The yellow ones.
That's disgusting. That's disgusting.
I'm trying to picture Din in a Naboo starfighter.
I know, right? I was like, I imagine Anakin in one. I imagine Leia in one. Not Mando.
That's a rumor. Take it as. But what do you think about that?
No, they're clearly just going to resurrect the Razor Crest, saying that somehow the Razor Crest has returned. And dark signs, cloning, secrets only the Mandalorians knew. Bam, Razor Crest is back. He gets his pulse rifle back. Done deal.
But no, what do you actually think? Do you actually? It's weird.
Stupid. It's such a stupid choice.
It's so weird.
Why would he go to Naboo and get a ship and then leave?
Right. And that's another thing. We haven't seen Naboo in a long time.
The current furthest we have seen Naboo is the Battlefront 2 campaign, as far as I'm aware, during Operation Cinder.
Yeah. But that we haven't seen it in like live action in a really long time.
It hasn't changed much since the prequels.
No.
You know what else we haven't seen in that long? Coruscant.
Yeah, the last we see of it canonically is Return of the Jedi, and it's like a glimpse.
And it's basically the same thing.
Right. So yeah, but my thought is it's not going to be like the ridiculously bright yellow. That would be a little like I can't do more bright colors because the speeder bikes throw me off. I think it's going to be like you know how they the rebellion with their ships, they're all beat up and stuff because they're all old.
Yeah.
I think that's what it's gonna be. Like it's just gonna be like Din just like picked up like the oldest.
You know what I think would be actually pretty cool? Remember? Oh shoot! I don't remember what season they were in. Remember Rebels, Iron Squadron?
Yes.
Their kind of ship. I would really like to see Din have a Corellian model.
That would be cool.
Maybe not the Millennium Falcon or anything like that, but like something like that. I just can't imagine him in a single person ship.
That's just bright yellow.
Yeah, it's just like that. Just feels weird.
And then you just see Din just flying around. No, what if they have Pedro Pascal in those helmets that they wore in episode 1, The Phantom Menace? Like not even his.
That would actually make me cry a little.
The one that's way too big for Anakin.
Yeah. Maybe he'll try flying or spinning. That's a good trick.
Oh no. What if that's how he lands? He just spins in it. Yeah. It's like
I'll try spinning. That's a good trick.
I understood that reference. Yeah. No, I don't think it's gonna be like the bright yellow. I think it'll be an old beat up Naboo starfighter. Yeah. It's really weird. I like the tie into the prequels. I think they're going for. But Daddy Din again. I was so excited. He's one of my favorite characters in Star Wars now. We were discussing this. What do we think his primary weapon he's going to use is?
Dude, I have to think it's the Darksaber.
Dude, if he comes out with the Darksaber the next episode, I'm going to lose it. I don't care what Boba does.
On his belt. I will tell you now. If Din Djarin in either The Mandalorian Season 3 or in the Book of Boba Fett, if he comes out, my very next project that I will do after the Mark 85 is Mandalorian armor. Is the Mandalorian armor. Look, I love the Beskar Pike with all my heart. That is going to be one of my future projects that I work on. But goddamn, I want to see him use the dark saber so bad.
Pulls it out,
I know.
starts taking down Pikes. By the way, who else do we think is going to be on this team?
Grief Karga.
Yes, I
Which
agree with that
I
one.
even said it when we talked on the phone earlier. I think he's gonna die.
Oh no,
So
no! I think
sad.
he's in it. I think.
I
Well,
think
no, actually, that's not. That can't be the case because he said he's filming Mandalorian season 3.
who cares?
He can't die then if he's in Mando 3.
He can.
No, he can't.
Just because he's filming it doesn't mean anything.
That does, Alex. That means something. That
No,
means
it
he can't
doesn't.
die.
No.
He's not gonna die. Wait,
Tom
Alex.
Cavanaugh has directed Superman and Lois, and Reverse Flash isn't in there.
Well, he's not.
Oh
He's
my!
not just directing.
My cat. I'll be back. Keep talking.
Yeah, I will. So he's Grief's not just directing. He said he's gonna be back playing Grief Karga. So I think it's pretty safe to assume he's alive. I do agree with Alex. I think he's in it because that's where I think Din is. It's really weird because I don't think they're gonna say much about what's up with Din until like the last episode. It's gonna be like, oh, Boba, I helped you out with this. Can you help me out taking back Mandalore? And it's just gonna segue into season 3 of the Mandalorian.
You're wrong. I don't know what you said.
I said that Grief Karga is still directing an episode, but he's also has said
Carl
he's
Weathers.
still playing. He's still playing that. Yeah, fucking hell. Yeah. Apollo Creed. Apollo Creed is
Apollo Creed.
He is directing an episode, and he also said, "I am playing Grief Karga in season 3." So
Flashbacks.
oh my god.
Okay, I also think Dengar possibly.
That would be cool.
He has to come up to what he looks like in the Rise of Skywalker.
Oh god.
Maybe he gets like effed up real bad. Boss.
By the way, do you think Boba lives till the sequel trilogy?
No.
Oh man. What about Din? No.
No.
Grogu at that point's the leader of Mandalore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I agree.
Bosk?
Yeah. I think Boss can make a healthy appearance. Cad.
That's the one I'm like iffy on, Alex, because like it's kind of weird to me if like Cad Bane's just on Boba Fett's side.
No. I think Cad's gonna act like he's on his side, and then he's gonna double cross him. Which I think is where we could see Grief Karga. Or Boss.
Interesting.
Or Dengar could look like whatever he looks like in The Rise of Skywalker.
Bosk? I think Bosk is a really safe bet. So we have Fennec, Boba, Chrysanthemum, Mando. Please don't just be 4 people. That's kind of boring.
I also think, because if they're going to deep cut with Chrysanthemum, Dr. Aphra.
Possibly. Be interesting.
Yeah. And if I think they're going to bring in Dr. Aphra, I could also see 000. Potentially. I'm a little iffy on this still, but Omega.
I don't think so.
I think as the episodes are going on, I think she's becoming less and less likely.
I think she's a thing that's just gonna die in the Bad Batch.
Nah, they're not gonna kill her off in Bad Batch.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll have to wait for season 2 because I think it does tie into probably, and that's why I think Book of Boba has a second season because I think there's still an interesting element there. But Bosk, I think, is a safe bet. Dengar leaning towards Cad, 1 because of his age and 2 because of like, I don't know if he'd want to work with Boba.
Yeah. Although I would laugh a lot. Cara Dune.
Played by Don Cheadle. No, I don't see.
Yeah. No, I'm joking. She's not.
No, I don't think so. Cobb Vanth. I think I could very possibly see Mando be like, yeah, I got this guy that I know here. Because Mando says, hey, till our paths cross. And I think that their paths are going to cross maybe here, maybe Cobb Vanth.
Why can I not remember his name? A bald white guy from Mandalorian seasons 1 and 2 who had the amazing scene in
Mayfeld! Bill
Mayfeld.
Burr!
Oops.
Bill Burr! How can you forget about Bill Burr?
I don't know. The only thing
I
I
don't
remember
know.
about Bill Burr is that he trash talked Star Wars.
Yeah, he does. It's so funny. I actually think yes. You know what? I actually think he's on the team. Because I just love Bill Burr so much, and he's so Bill Burr like plays himself if he was in Star Wars, just making fun of everyone. He's like, Mandalorians, Alderaanians, they're all the same. Both their planets are gone. Just like, so yeah. That's all I gotta say about the Book of Boba Fett. I'm really excited for episode 5. I think we're gonna get some crazy stuff, and I think we're all leading towards. It's weird, because Boba just hasn't mentioned Han or Luke yet. I think we're leading towards that
Do
at
you
the end of the
think
season.
that Han could join the team? Take the Alden era?
What I think happens at the end of this, and maybe I actually think this, they resolve the conflict by episode 6, maybe into episode 7. But somebody like the New Republic's gonna be like, "What's up out here on Tatooine?" Right? Because we know they have a presence on the Outer Rim, and they're gonna be curious, like, who's leading Jabba's palace now, and who's doing all this crazy stuff on Tatooine. And they're gonna send Han, and I think Han's gonna have a little someone with him. You know who that little someone is?
Leia?
Ben.
Well, Ben's off training with Luke, so I don't see how that's gonna happen.
At 5 though?
That man was being trained from a very young age.
You don't think he hung out with his dad a little bit though?
No.
Oh, you ruined my theory then.
Sorry to shit on your theory. I know I'm a canon junkie. Oh my gosh.
No, but I was gonna say Han was gonna see that was Boba, and Boba was, which is weird.
Let me pitch a theory to you.
So I think Han's in the show, but go ahead.
I think, what if?
I just don't know how that plays yet.
Okay, what if the final episode of Book of Boba Fett? We'll say it's an hour long. Okay, it resolves this conflict with the Pikes, teases Kira, but then the Mandalorian Din Djarin, Daddy Din, he says, "Hey, I could use your help and as much help as I can get to reclaim Mandalore." And what if Han's like, I need to go get some help from someone, and he goes in and enlists Han and Chewie for help.
That would be really cool. But I think it's more likely he asked Boba, right?
I don't know. I think we could see him like confront Han and say like no hard feelings.
I feel like that's what their interaction's gonna be like, because we've kind of seen that with Boba. He's gonna be like, "Hey, happened, bud."
Yeah, and I think that would be really cool. Like to know that Han and Chewie and potentially Leia, because everyone's like fan casting her daughter to.
It would work.
Play. Yeah, I mean, would it be a little confusing to see her 20 years later in the sequel trilogy? Sure, but who cares?
Right. Yeah.
So that would be my ultimate way to end the show, is to have Boba go off to find Han, Chewie, and the rebels to go help with Mandalore.
Because I think this is all leading towards obviously Thrawn, right? Yeah. And I think that what John and Dave want to do is they want to have. You just. I'm sorry, folks. Technical. Oh man.
Thinking about having some cat for dinner.
So this all leading towards Thrawn, obviously, and I think John and Dave, they want to have Luke, Han, and Leia.
That's his new name, is Thranos.
They want to have Luke, Han, and Leia with Boba, Mando, and Ahsoka.
Yeah, could you imagine like the Holy Trinity with another Trinity?
With the Mandoverse, so that's what they're going for. The new Holy, they're gonna go with the crime boss, Mandalore.
Look, let's make predictions for the second Siege of Mandalore. Who do you think is going to be a part of it?
Din, Bo-Katan.
Ooh.
But like you were saying, I like your arrow theory you had, where like Ra's al Ghul knocked off Oliver Queen at the end of what was it, season 1,
Season
2,
3,
season
like
3, 5.
mid-season.
Right. I think like she's gonna be a pest in Din's side at the very least. All those other Mandalorians, like dozens of them,
Yeah.
and yeah, that's really all I got.
My predictions. Okay, I have a lot of them, and I'm
And
gonna
I
use
think
them. I'm gonna use some names. Okay. Obvious Din Djarin, Bo-Katan, Boba Fett, Fennec Shand, Grief Karga, potentially Cara Dune. I'm gonna say the three: Luke, Han, and Leia, and Chewie, of course. I know
I
they
think
get.
it's a little too early for that to all
I
three
do
of them be
too.
together, but
I think it gets a little too risky, so I'm gonna say only Han and Chewie for now. Um, I'm gonna say Casca. I'm gonna say Ash.
this sounds so awesome right now.
I know. I'm gonna say
Who do you think's on Mandalore?
I don't know. Armorer.
I think so.
I think Sabine, Ahsoka. Um,
God,
dang.
Rex.
I don't think we'll see Rex. Um, and I think if we do see Rex, I think he dies, which is really sad. Which is why I don't want to see him.
No,
I know.
no.
Because you know how I think about this. I think this first siege that they do should be an absolute failure, and they lose a lot of main people. I think
Oh,
if
that's
I
a
think if
really good idea.
I think if all the people I've just named, I think if they wanted to have like a huge like, oh my god, this is not going to work. I think
Like,
Costa Reeves should die. I think
yeah,
Axe Wolf should die. I think Rex should die, and then I think either Fennec or Grief should die.
yeah, and it's like devastated.
Yes, it's like they're trying to hold the front line, and then like that. That's how I would do it. Because again, I don't think it should be a successful attempt. Because this is Thrawn of all people. Like this isn't Tarkin, Piet, Veers, any one of those people. Like or Gideon. Like this isn't any of them. This is like Thrawn.
Right.
Like he demolished the rebels in his first onslaught against them during 0 hour.
Yeah, yeah. All right, well, let's now segue into the Moonknight trailer.
Question of the week.
What?
Question of the week.
Oh, question of the week. Yeah, question of the week. Go ahead.
So this is a new segment we're doing. I
No.
have in my one of my spare Iron Man helmets. I have a bunch of questions that I'm going to ask. This is Marvel, Star Wars, some non-Marvel Star Wars like DC, and some other just non-franchise things. And I'm going to ask a question of the week where you people will also participate in it, answering the question. Drew, should we start off by doing 2 questions just to get us started?
Let's just do one.
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead.
We still have to talk about Moonknight, but yeah.
You tell me when to stop.
Stop.
I want that one. All right, first question of the week. I gotta open the paper now. There we go. I got it. I had to do it so I couldn't see it. Ooh, an interesting one for the first one. Favorite non-Star Wars / Marvel movie, and I think we'll even do this because I don't think none of us have DC as our favorite. So mine, I just watched for the first time not too long ago, and I have absolutely loved it, and I've been obsessed with it, to say the least. So if you want me to go first, I can get a little bit more in depth.
I'm gonna have to go with. I think as a kid, the Rocky movies always meant a lot to me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to say the second Rocky movie as a kid.
Okay.
I always loved Sly Stallone. Um, I always just there's something I always appreciate about the Rocky franchise, like the
Yeah.
underdog and the music, the soundtrack, the whole story behind how Sylvester Stallone made those films is great. I joke. I mean, it's a weird story with the Rocky films. But I always joke with my dad. Like we'll make jokes about Clubber Lane, when he comes in Rocky 3, and um, he talks to Adrian, Rocky's wife, and he goes, "Hey
Mm,
woman, hey woman, hey woman." It's just the funniest
yeah.
scene ever. Mickey, obviously Rocky Ford with Ivan Drago, and then I just really love that franchise. I know it's a really weird answer, and it's probably not my
No, no,
favorite
no, no.
movie, but
Wow. My favorite, again, I watched this just a few days ago, and I've been obsessed with it ever since then, was Tick Tick Boom. Um,
Andrew,
I
right? Andrew's in that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Andrew Garfield's the lead of it,
he's
and
great.
absolutely crushed it. He's an amazing singer. Story was amazing. It dragged a little bit, but whatever. Just absolutely love the soundtrack of the movie. I have listened to 3090 probably 1,000 times, so I want to rewatch it so bad right now. Love Tick Tick Boom. Love it, love it, love it.
Awesome. I'm gonna have to check it out then. So let's
Also,
now.
hold on.
Oh,
Honorable mention: Kill Your Darlings. Love Kill Your Darlings.
oh, honorable mention for me because I loved it so much as a kid. Cars.
Yeah, yeah, I get it.
Um, Now let's segue finally into a show I'm really excited for, and this trailer got me really excited,
Well, look,
even
hold
though it
on,
doesn't do a lot.
hold on. Before we talk about Moon Knight in the trailer, an actor who is in Moon Knight did pass away, I think today,
Yeah,
in a skiing accident. Gaspard Ulliel, I think it's pronounced.
I believe.
Um, so sad that he won't even get to see what is most likely going to be a masterpiece of a show. So,
Yeah, rest in peace. My thoughts and
yes,
prayers go out to him and his
yes,
family and everyone else
absolutely.
affected. But now into Moon Knight, Alex, I love this trailer, and it doesn't show a lot of Moon Knight.
Show
I
it
think
does a lot without doing too much.
I really love just the premise of this show. It's dealing with a heavy topic, right? Dissociative identity disorder, where like this dude basically like he has to tie himself to his bed so he knows like where he is.
Mm,
Um, so he has obviously Mark Spector obviously has multiple personalities, right? Obviously, Steven is one of them that they allude to him in the trailer. There's another one where he's a
Jake.
businessman. I can't remember his name.
There's Mark, Steven, Jake, and I think that's it. Just the
I
three.
think Jake's the one where he's the businessman, right? And
Yeah.
we kind of do see that because he's driving the cupcake truck or whatever, and he has a gun and he shoots a dude, and we get a maybe a Von Doom reference. There's a container that says
No,
Vaughn.
it's you can see it when the person falls out of the truck. You can see the company name, and it's
It's
not
not
Von Doom. Unfortunately, I was
this is
really excited because I was like, "Oh my god, are we already getting Doctor Doom references?" And then
yeah.
I saw it when they went to the back. I was like, "Fuck!" I was so upset.
So Alex, what did you think of this trailer?
Well, I was already super excited for Moon Knight, as you know. I said it was like either one or two for my most anticipated.
Yeah,
It's definitely number one now because it's coming out in March.
right.
So,
Screw you, Obi-Wan Kenobi.
well, looking like it's Bad Batch, but whatever. Um,
Yeah.
ugh, don't even get me started on the Bad Batch right now. Yeah, so excited for Moon Knight. Really sad it's only going to be 6 episodes, though. There's so much they could do with this. I still want that interaction that he had with Punisher so bad in the comics. Um,
How's your dead family?
right. Yeah, it's just like, oh, I would kill for him to have that with someone. Like, could you imagine him and Wanda and he fucking brings up that as your dead fucking family?
Have you seen the one with Spider-Man that I've been seeing? He's like, bad time to come to space. Spider-Man's like, yeah, this whole thing with Gamora's crazy. And Moon Knight's like, who's Gamora? And Spider-Man's just like, just punch who I ever punch. and then they jump up and they start going after people. And then there's another one. I think this one might be edited. I'm not sure, but it's like he goes to Dracula and he's like, "Where's my fucking money, Dracula?" or something like that. He's just such a cool and interesting character that I don't even know a lot about, but just his costume. Like when we first saw his costume without the CGI, I remember me and you were like, "Yep." And then after
Yeah.
seeing it with the CG,
Now,
yeah,
I gotta say, I honestly kind of prefer the non CG version. My friend who I was talking to earlier said he doesn't like how bulky the mask looks. I was like, but I don't think it looks that bulky.
no, I don't think it looks that bad. I
I don't
will
know.
say, like, it is bright. It is
It
brighter
is.
than it is really bright.
He's the inverse of Batman. Okay, he's the inverse of Batman. Okay, he's
Right, right.
Batman's Dark Knight. He's Bright Knight.
He's the bright knight. But it's really funny how like in the
Yeah.
same month, basically two similar characters have their own projects.
Coincidence? I think not.
No. And I also love the transition that they did when he jumps.
It's the Disney Plus logo, dude.
Yeah,
Oh, it was so clean. I was like, oh my
such a
gosh, is
nice
there more to
touch.
the trailer? And then it was
And
just
the poster is so good. It's so
such a good
simple.
poster.
It's so simple
It's
but so
it's
good.
a poster. I will tell you, I want it so bad, and I will frame it.
Yeah, I might actually get it because I'm really excited. And
Yeah,
Oscar Isaac, I was like, oh, he has a British accent. That's a little it caught me off guard for a second.
yeah, I know. Because it's weird. Because so many British actors do American accents, like better than some Americans. Um, just
John
American.
Boyega,
Yeah,
Benedict Cumberbatch.
Tom Holland.
Yeah.
Just like, but then you hear him do a British accent, and it's like, why did you call me Mark? And it's just like, go back to being English.
Yeah, right. Go back. Yeah, yeah. It's like it's a little off putting.
Go ahead, tell
Uh
me how Palpatine returned. Just not.
yeah. Somehow Moonknight returned. It's just
Also, the transition into Moonknight, oh, so clean, so
oh
clean.
yeah, when he's like being mummified.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that
also
was
like how sometimes, like when he's outside and it happens, I also like how it looks like he's like coming in tune with Moon Knight, and it looks like he's allowing him to come out,
right.
which is something that I'm
Right.
honestly kind of nervous about them approaching with DID. Is I'm nervous that they're going to kind of be like, oh, well, Moon Knight's going to be able to cure his DID, and he's going to be able to take on any of the personas that he wants at any time. It's just like, don't do that, please. Don't do that. That'd be
And
like, because that's like that was my problem with Makari, is she's deaf, but she can hear through vibrational frequencies. And it's like, well, then the bitch isn't deaf. That's not how deaf works. When you're deaf, you can't hear.
right. So with his DID, um, I think it's going to be a really interesting storytelling device because
Mm,
we're never going to know like what his personality is. Like they could do a thing like a whole sequence. They could start the show with a whole sequence of us seeing something
mm-hmm.
and it's not even real. It's like a
Yeah.
dream he has.
Good. Like
Uh
the way that I would honestly do it is like a way to subtly cue the audience that his personality has changed. Like Jake and Steven and Mark could all have different theme songs, like
yep.
variation theme songs, or like the lighting could change or something, like something like that. I don't know how I'd feel if like we never knew, because then I feel it could get too confusing for general audiences, and
All
I
right,
don't.
I'm not saying like we never knew, but like it's something they
Yeah,
could keep us on the edge of our seat for like,
yeah,
oh, which one is he? And I assume like his Steven one just seems like he's just a guy at a museum. That seems
yeah.
like they kind of presented that as his regular one.
Yeah, well, because his regular form is Mark Spector. Steven is just something that he takes over. Because, like, when he's Mark, I'm pretty sure he's like Indiana Jones. And then when
Right.
he's Steven, he's like normal. With Jake, he's like a bum, which is weird.
Yeah. And then Moon Knight is just fucking insane.
Batman.
Yeah. Um and we see Khonshu. We see the
Yeah.
Egyptian is it the
He's
moon god?
scary, bro. Yeah.
Yeah, he is
Yeah. Moon Knight, or Moon God. Yeah.
he is terrifying. It's just
That.
like a big bird.
Yeah. Could you just imagine that chasing after you?
It's just an old lady.
It's just an old lady who's looking for her dentures.
Oh, it was so funny. I was like, "Oh, this is terrifying," because he's massive too. Like he's taken up, like
Yeah.
he's walking in
So
his
it was
like
like
legs.
all decrepit. It's like,
His
oh,
legs are halfway up. So in the comics, I believe he resurrects Mark, right? And he gives him the powers of the Moon Knight.
something like that. I don't know.
Yeah,
Also, can I please talk about the comics for a sec? Like the discussion about Moon Knight is already trash. I don't want it. Take it
gatekeep
back.
some gatekeeping for Moon Knight.
Gatekeeping already. Basically, if you don't know, people are basically saying like, oh, to all the new Moon Knight fans coming along when the show comes out, here's my proof that I'm an ultra fan of Moon Knight. If you can't exactly describe to me the comic where Moon Knight sucks Batman's dick, then like you're clearly not a Moon Knight fan. It's just like, stop, stop it. It's like, how can we have two Disney Plus shows in a row that already have bad discussion around them?
Right. It's not even like Moon Knight's such an obscure character, right? I
Literally,
presume
like if you look at him in the grand scheme of the comics, he's not in it as much as someone like Thor or Captain America.
He's
What's
pretty
up?
obscure. Which, by the way, I need to see that scene where like I don't know if you've ever seen it. I'm pretty sure he can like stop Mjolnir.
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure I'm right about something like that because it's made out of the same material as like his suit or something like that. It's something like that. He has he has moon rains, not has like those rains that Batman throws. What the hell you call them?
I don't know. I know. Oh yeah, he can stop Mjolnir. Like he
Yeah,
can. He can. Thor throws it at him. He stops it, and he doesn't allow Thor to recall it.
nice. I want to see that. And by the way, do you think we're getting set up for Midnight Suns?
Absolutely. How you gonna introduce? Blurry.
Oh,
Hey, focus, camera. Hey,
Blade.
I'm right here. We got Blade, Dark
But by
or
the
Black
way,
Knight.
I think theories by T pointed this out. Blade and uh Moon Knight work like 20 minutes apart from each other, or Dane Whitman. I mean,
Yeah. Go them.
Dane,
Dane Whitman.
Blade, Moon Knight. Who else do we think will be part of
What are their
Midnight Suns?
names? What is it called?
Midnight Suns.
Midnight
I
Sun.
know. Ghost Rider probably.
Okay, in it there is. I
Strange is
lost
in
it.
it.
There is Blade. There is Punisher. There is Moon Knight. There is who the fuck are you people? I'm gonna go like actually search this up. Come in, come on, come in. I can't find it. Because it doesn't like really like say who's in it. I'm gonna have to search this up. Let me actually search up like who's inside, who's in.
Werewolf by Night, which is getting a special.
Yeah, so we got Doctor Strange, Ghost Rider, Blade, Morbius, Damien Hellstorm, Man Thing, Moon Knight, and others. Bam.
Iron Fist is in it. I don't know, like how Punisher, Man Thing. Yeah. Yeah, so we got a lot of the team. Again, we never do direct adaptations with the MCU from the Marvel comics. I
Yeah,
don't think
and
Strange is going to be part of the Midnight
yeah, and,
Suns. I assume.
yeah. The thing to me about the Midnight Suns is that they were really brought together to stop the collapse of the multiverse. So it's like, Multiverse of Madness is the thing right
Maybe after
after
this whole
this.
multiverse
Could
saga,
we see the Midnight Suns? Could we see Dane Whitman as the Black Knight? Could we see Moon Knight? Could we see Blade in Multiverse of Madness?
Punisher.
Punisher?
We
Maybe.
already have a Punisher.
You gotta think like the multiverse clearly exists in Marvel. We saw it in Spider-Man: No Way Home. We saw it in What If. We're gonna see it in Multiverse of Madness.
For sure, for sure.
Look, Marvel is in a really fucked place if you think about it. Like the Marvel universe, you got scrolls all over the place. The multiverse has been unleashed. Spider-Man's a villain all of a sudden to many people.
Right.
The
You got a
Avengers are
psychopath
yeah.
who just beats up people.
The Avengers are as good as broken up at this point.
Right. Wanda's crazy.
Wanda's rewriting reality beyond like anyone's imagination. Doctor Strange is Doctor
Loki's going
Strange.
through an emotional mess and a multiversal mess at this moment.
Which Loki, what a guy. And woman. It's just too much.
I wonder what Scott thinks about all this. What's going down?
I know. I need Luis to recap it for me.
I wonder what Scott feels right now, man.
Dude, could you imagine we get that as like a short on like Disney Plus? Is Luis recapping the entire MCU?
Right. So
God.
so I knew this guy who knew this guy who knew this guy who knew.
It would just go on and on and on. But yeah. Speaking of, again, Midnight Suns had like a lot of people again. Wolverine, Iron Man, Captain America. Just basically the big figure forces of the Marvel Universe were brought together on a team to fight a force that was going to collapse the multiverse within itself.
Yeah.
And so again, with the potential that we see the Black Knight and Blade, then Moon Knight, and then Multiverse of Madness. Again, coincidence? I think not.
Morbius is in the Sonyverse. I don't know if they'd bring him over. Maybe if
well,
they could.
Also, take again, Morbius is a part of the Midnight Suns, and Morbius does come out before Multiverse of Madness.
Right. Right.
Coincidence? I think not.
No, and we know Marvel and Sony have a good communication over there, so I definitely think Moon Knight's just one of these projects set it up. Midnight sounds like the Young Avengers is being set up currently, or has been the past
Dark
year.
Avengers,
Right.
Secret Invasion,
Yes.
everything,
Scrolls. Yeah.
everything.
Uh, everything's going to chaos. But um, so at the end of the trailer, we see him beating up a jackal or like a werewolf of some sort. I don't think it's Werewolf by Night, as he is getting his own show. Seemingly, it hasn't been confirmed, but it's supposed to be like a Halloween special, like a short thing.
Yeah.
Maybe he's introduced in Moon Knight. That is a possibility. To have to check rumors and stuff. But I think this is just some. By the way, I don't know any of Moon Knight's villains, so I have no idea who the villain of this show
Well,
is.
shit.
It's not. It's not Ethan Hawke's character, the guy with the blonde hair. He seems to be like a weird like preacher or something, or
Yeah,
like
he's
friend of
like a very
Mark.
deep cut person. But like some of like I'm looking up right here. Enemies of Moon Knight consist of Agony, Emote, I don't know how to say it. Anarchy,
Dracula.
Apocalypse, LMD, Arc, Aria, Era, Ares, Arsenal, Base, Bell, Bengal, like, and going on and on and on and on. Bullseye was once an enemy of Moon Knight. Yeah, it's just he has a lot of enemies. Okay, he's Batman, so it's like, what do you expect?
Yeah, I'm really excited for the show. I think it's going to be great. 6 episodes. Again, I feel like, I don't know if you agree with this or not, Alex. I feel like while we've liked or enjoyed some of the Marvel Disney Plus shows, they really haven't found their footing yet. They've kind of struggled. I feel like they haven't put a solid, full on great 6 episodes. The closest was Loki, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think there was some missteps with Hawkeye. I know we disagree. Falcon was missteps. WandaVision just depends on your cup of tea. I think Moon Knight's gonna be the first one that really hits, and I think it's got the potential. It's got a great actor, a really interesting character, and it's got a really interested personal conflict or personal issue that
Yeah.
can tackle. So, what are your closing thoughts on the Moon Knight trailer and about the show?
Excited. March 30th cannot come fast enough.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What is going on in your house, Alex?
well, crazy people live here, so like, what do you expect?
Right. And the final thing I want to talk about is Alex and I's favorite show. The show that started um
But
this podcast.
the Dad Batch.
The Bad Batch. Which, by the way, I haven't watched that show in forever, and I
The
don't know if I
Bad Bitches.
The Bad Batch. So let me get this up on my
Yeah,
screen here.
I also feel so bad because I have talked to a lot of people who are like, "Oh my gosh, I love the Bad Batch so much." I'm like, just like, you have bad taste in television. Sorry.
It's just not our cup of tea. Like I've said, I think there are 8 really good episodes, and then I think there are 8 that are like okay
Dude,
to bad.
and I have said it. I said it on our phone call. We can already go ahead and look that the Bad Batch is coming spring of 2022. If the Bad Batch season 2 comes out on May 4th, I'm refusing to watch the show because it
That's
should
not
not
true.
come out because Kenobi should be on the May 4th. I am telling you, Drew, I will refuse to watch it like I'm refusing to watch Morbius. I'm being wholeheartedly serious right now.
I will say, Alex, it is one of the biggest blunders if they decide to put this out on their big holiday, instead of Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Literally the most hyped Disney Plus show this year. Above any Marvel thing, above anything.
Maybe the most hyped project of the year, and maybe even over the Batman and Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, let's put an animated cartoon on our holiday.
An animated cartoon that did not do well when it came out.
Right, because like even now I'm seeing it. Like popular creators, like they'll talk about the Book of Boba Fett, but it's nowhere near like how we talked about Marvel stuff. But
Yeah,
with the Bad Batch coming out on in the spring,
yeah.
that
See, it's like,
means
oh, I just can't because the book or Bad Batch was a 4.6 like rating, and it's just like no, no,
out of
it's not.
5.
Yeah, it's just like no, it's just not.
Well, we
It's
also have to put into perspective, Alex. This is a show made for kids, but
yeah. I mean, I don't know. I just
I
the
just it's
I
too
just
long. It's too
the
many
show
episodes.
it suffered too much from itself. Like the show was its own fault. Now I will say, like on here on Rotten Tomatoes, The Bad Batch has an 88% for critics and about an 81% right now for audience. But like I would only rank the show, like no joke, I would probably rank the show like a 5 out of 10 at
I'd
my
give
most.
it like a 6.5, a 7 out of 10.
I
I
give it
still
a five
think
out of ten because half the episodes were ass and the other half were good to amazing.
right. And then like they took some missteps to me with the finale. Like the finale was pretty safe, like really, really
No,
safe.
no, the finale was bad. I'm talking like, jeez, I'm talking about like Clone Wars season one bad. Um, like, could you imagine ending the show? You're trying to have this whole redemption arc for Crosshair, and then right as we start to go, like, ooh, he's gonna redeem. Blah. Like he doesn't want to go with them because he doesn't want to.
Yeah, it was
Could
really
you,
off, but it was really bad.
could you imagine that?
So
No logic. No logic.
but it coming out in the spring, like man, I'm excited. I'll watch it. It's definitely my least anticipated project of the year,
All
like for
year.
everything.
The
For everything.
Marvels. I would suck the Marvels dick right now if I didn't have to watch The Bad Batch. If that was an option. If I was told you can suck Brie Larson's dick, or you could have to watch The Bad Batch. Oh, where's Brie Larson at?
Yeah, I am. I mean, and especially if it's in the May the 4th time slot, it's gonna
Oh,
be weird.
don't put that out there.
And I really hope that it's 12 episodes.
I'm hoping it's 4 and that they're all a minute long.
You're awful. You're
I
awful,
hate the
man. You're not
show.
gonna
I'm
give this.
sorry. If it's on the May 4th slot, I'm not giving the show a chance. I'm just not gonna watch it. I won't
And
have.
then,
Oh,
what do you think, Alex, about the possibility of these shows possibly overlapping? Kenobi and Bad Batch.
they won't do it. Bad Batch won't get any viewers.
Yeah, I
Um,
was like, I've
I
seen that
think I
possibility.
think at the biggest chance they could have Bad Batch potentially like overlap with like Moonknight, like because like Moonknight is gonna run from March all the way to the start of May. Oh
Wow.
no! Don't don't! I'll cry. Don't say Moonknight is gonna start with 2 episodes.
I was going to say that.
Because then it's a perfect week to just go straight to the Star Wars thing.
Straight to Kenobi.
Nope, it's gonna be the Bad Batch.
No, I swear to God, if they do 2 episodes of Moon Knight and then it's, here are 16 weeks of the Bad Batch, I'm gonna.
I'm flipping my desk. I'm flipping my chair. Oh my gosh.
But my thing is like Disney already said that Andor is coming out in
What I
the
thought. Like, here's the
quarter
thing.
quarter three
Yeah.
of uh,
Yeah.
Disney's calendar, so that would put it in the summer, like July to early October. So how would the Bad Batch then
Look,
be
here's
six? There's no way it's 16 episodes. There's no way it can't work.
here's my thing. Okay, we need to remember that this year we are still to get Moon Knight, the Bad Batch, Mandalorian got delayed. Ahsoka's not coming
Well,
out.
actually, it didn't. I guess
Oh,
they are still filming. Yeah, Carl Weathers tweeted it the other day that they're still filming.
no. Well, look
So
at that. Still coming out this year then. Whoop de doo. Uh,
She-Hulk, Miss Marvel,
She-Hulk, Miss Marvel,
Andor,
Andor, um,
possibly Secret Invasion. What if
Secret
possibly?
Invasion. What if season 2? Um, we're missing something.
I Am Groot, right?
Yeah, I Am Groot.
The holiday
Uh,
special, the Guardians holiday special. There's a lot of stuff.
that's currently right now 10 things coming out this year. There's no way the Bad Batch slots in at the beginning of the year. Because here is my I gotta pull up the calendar. This is getting serious. Let's say right now. So Moonknight starts March 30th. That's the current next Marvel, Disney, or Star Wars thing coming out right
And
now.
it has to be, right? Because you can't just put something at
Yes.
the end of the Book of Boba Fett. Yeah, right.
No. So Book of Boba Fett is currently on episode 4. So it's got 3 more weeks. So that's going to end February 9th.
Yep.
So then
It's 6 weeks, I believe. 6 weeks, yeah, until Moonknight.
So then you could probably take what, like a break from the 16th, so nothing on the 16th. Then at that point, it's like what? You could slot in Kenobi, go the 23rd, 2nd, 9th, and then 16th, take a week break, Moonknight. And then,
Well, I think Kenobi is going to start on May the 4th. I really still think that.
but here's like, do you think they're only going to run a show for the course of May?
I think you really want to maximize Kenobi's audience, right? So you
That's what
do
that's
that.
what you would think. You would think, but it's looking like the Bad Batch is going to be the show. So again, February
So then you
9th,
run the risk of Kenobi running with a show like She-Hulk.
or hear me out. Let's say that
Because we also have to remember, they also said the first time that there'll be a crossover between Star Wars and Marvel is Andor and Miss Marvel that will run at the same time. So at this, they can't conflict.
So yeah, and that's the other thing is like, well, Miss Marvel is most likely going to come out during the summer or to close to fall. So
Andor has to come out at that time.
Andor would have to come out at that time. So right now it's looking like March 30th is Moonknight. So again, the best place that I could see this, let's say Kenobi, because didn't Kenobi wrap filming a long time ago, like a few months ago?
Yeah. Late August, early mid-September.
And that is definitely enough turnaround time to be done by now, or around now.
Around May,
yeah,
for sure.
At least a trailer. My most ideal thing. So we know Andor is 12 episodes. Miss Marvel.
Well, the thing with Andor is there's a rumor now that it might
they might cut it in half for season 1 and 2,
which I wouldn't mind.
I wouldn't either. I think 12 for live action might be a little too much.
Yeah,
I think 8 is a good middle ground for live action if you want to go the full length. So my ideal thing right now would be, so Book of Boba Fett ends on the 9th. You could then do 23rd, 2nd, 9th. You could then potentially do on the 16th of February. You could do trying to remember all the shows that come out. So Star Wars has Kenobi.
I don't think you can't do anything at that point because nothing's been marketed for that.
I think if they do it right now, it's gonna be too late. Like nobody's gonna care.
So March 30th will be the 6 weeks.
Yeah. So then again, we run again. We have to assume Moonknight's probably gonna have a 2-episode premiere.
Yep.
Because of the May 4th date is Star Wars Day. And I don't think they would put anything Marvel competing against Star Wars on that day. That would just not make sense. So again, we risk Kenobi. Like, let me also look up what are the days of spring. No, that's okay. So that's March the 20th to June the 21st. So
I think it's going to be after Kenobi then.
Then yeah, I think at that point, because Kenobi, let's say in a perfect world, starts on May the 4th. It'll end the 25th of May. Then what? You could
No.
Yeah, because the first Wednesday of May is the 4th. And then the last Wednesday, because isn't Kenobi only 4 episodes?
6.
I thought they said back it was only going to be 4.
No, it's 6. It will end the 8th.
Well, then yeah, even then you go the 8th of June, and then you could skip a week, and then have Bad Batch start the 22nd. That's a day after spring, and then then let's say it is 16 episodes again. So we start the 22nd. That goes to the 29th, the 6th, the 13th, the 20th, the 27th. That's like what?
6.
6 episodes. Then the 3rd, that's 7, 10th, 17th, 24th, 31st, 7th,
It's 11.
14th, 21st, 28th, 5th, 12th, 19th, 26th, 12th. That's 16, right?
Yeah, so the 16th would...
That'd be going all the way till October.
Yeah. And then you got to fit Andor in that. We even haven't even mentioned like She-Hulk or like...
What If,
Which...
Secret Invasion.
And then... Yeah, I don't know how this is going
Because
to
you
work.
gotta also think that December is for sure gonna have the Guardians holiday special,
And probably Mando.
and potentially the Mandalorian on the 28th.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
it's kind of crazy. Like, what are we doing here?
Wish
'Cause
there was
then-
some clarity sometimes about this type of stuff.
yeah, it's almost like they should be like announcing this shit at the beginning of the year, so like we know what to expect.
Right.
Because here's my thing: is like if you let's say they were to go out and say that you know, Moon Knight, because I think it's almost certainly Moon Knight is going to have a 2-episode premiere, which is going to suck because I think that show should be given its full justice to go the 6 weeks.
It's fair.
So it kind of questions to me, why not push Moon back forward a week and do the 23rd? Because then you can have the 6-week span. You'll have your week break before May the 4th. And then, bam, Kenobi.
Yeah, I don't know. It really depends on how many episodes Bad Batch is too. Maybe they learn their lesson and they make 8 hour-long episodes instead of 16.
Because I think another thing of like hold on. Because the days of summer are damn, what are the days of summer?
Goes until like September 21st.
What are the days of summer? Why is it asking for dog days? What the fuck is a dog day?
The dog days of summer?
Yeah, what is that? I don't know.
I mean, it's like the end of summer.
I don't think so, because that's July 3rd to August 11th. There's no way fall starts in August.
I'm better look this up.
Fall.
Summer season is June the 21st to September the 22nd.
Yes. So like, and then autumn or fall is September 22nd to December 21st, which is weird. I don't know why we don't start a little earlier, but whatever. So what? Andor comes out during summer because that's when Miss Marvel is.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, where does Bad Batch
Summer.
slot into
Yeah,
this?
I don't know. Because it can't be 16. It just can't be 16 episodes.
If it's 16, they're shooting themselves in the foot because they're either putting it together with another Star Wars IP and potentially another Marvel IP on top of it, or they're gonna do like Secret Invasion with Bad Batch going on at the same time,
Or
and then
She-Hulk.
and
It's
then
just-
She-Hulk on top of that. It's like where it won't work. It will not fit right now.
Because the thing with Loki was the experiment having it on Wednesdays, and they saw the viewership.
Yeah.
And Bad Batch was on Friday still at that point. So, but now it's all going to be on Wednesday. If the Bad Batch is on Wednesday, if like even She-Hulk is on Wednesday, Bad Batch is going to be the last thing I touch.
Yeah. And maybe that's like the other thing is, do you think we could also be looking instead to Bad Batch being a Friday release?
I don't know, man. I don't know if they
Because
want to do that.
they might have no choice. Because the Bad Batch will not be watched if it releases on Wednesdays. That's going to be essentially...
People will watch it, but like it won't be...
It will
I
not
worry
be...
about...
I would predict, let's say... Let me pull up a calculator now, okay? I'm having to do math, okay? This is my speculative numbers, okay? Let's say Moon Knight let's say the premiere of Moon Knight and the premiere of the Bad Batch of season 2 happen at the same time. Let's say 1.5 million people watch it. I think that maybe 15% of the people who watch Moon Knight are gonna watch the Bad Batch. That's 225,000 people. Sounds like a
Okay.
lot, but is not a lot compared to 1.5 million.
I think the Bad Batch would get around 500,000 views.
No. If you compare it to something like the Moonknight premiere, no. No way. Even then, you put it to something like Miss Marvel might be the only thing it has a chance of beating out in ratings.
Even then, I don't think so.
And even then, Miss Marvel's a live action show.
Right. Yeah, man. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But I got nothing else to say. It's really just up in the air at this point. But
Disney,
Alex,
better marketing.
we're gonna wrap up the show there. Great show today. Alex,
Yeah.
got any closing thoughts?
Tune in next week for question of the week.
Yeah, tune in next week. I'll upload that onto TikTok for sure. I've got time tomorrow, so I'll do it. But again, thank you. Check us out on TikTok, me at Hammy Demand. Check him out at Candy in My Van. Check us out on our TikTok page at Wars in the Stars. We will be uploading there tomorrow. Check us out on YouTube, obviously, here. And we will be back next Wednesday for episode 5 review when we get to see Daddy Did
Daddy in.
in episode 5 of the Book of Boba Fett.
What if we
As
don't see
always,
him?
may the Force be with you and may you stay burdened with glorious purpose.